Jupiter in the 7th house. Astrologa. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. And let's begin today's video. So Jupiter in the 7th house. Now, Libra is the natural sign, which is the sign of the 7th house. And Venus is the lord of the 7th house. So when we're putting Jupiter in the 7th house, so Jupiter is the lord of the 9th and the 12th house. And we're taking the lord of the 9th and the 12th and putting that lord into the 7th house. And Jupiter also is the ruler of Pisces and Sagittarius. So we're going to look at that, and we're also going to look at Jupiter aspects. Jupiter aspects the 5th, the 9th, and the 11th from where it sits. So if we're putting Jupiter in the 7th, it's aspecting the 11th house, the 3rd house, and the 5th house. So Jupiter is the most important planet after the moon. The moon is your mind, and Jupiter is your luck factor. And Jupiter, it's represents judges and advisors and scholars, professors, experts, gurus, father figures. It's the giver of your husband. It's Jupiter gives you your children. It gives you your education, your knowledge, and your wisdom. Generally, Mercury gives you your education, and Jupiter is your knowledge and your wisdom, your higher learning. So Jupiter, internally, what it shows your ability to judge and advise other people. So it's your ability to master a knowledge. It's what you're learning throughout your life. And Jupiter also is considered like the lawyer of the zodiac. It writes down the laws, and it makes these laws, and it wants people to follow these laws in a very ethical way. So Jupiter qualities. Jupiter brings wisdom to your life. It also brings education to your life. From your basic to your master's to your PhD, it represents those things. Your ability to advise and also to take advice. Consulting is seen from Jupiter. Jupiter's aspects on your life. It brings prosperity and fortune into your life. It's the luck factor you bring into this life, and it is the luck factor in how that luck plays out in your life. And it's to do with the karma that you've previously performed in your previous lives, and you're carrying that luck forward. So Jupiter is expansion, and it is optimism. The expansion of Jupiter is very slow. It's not like Rahu, which is like an explosion. It's massive. It's fast. Jupiter is a slow moving planet. It's a large planet. So you see it growing with time. The expansion is there, and that expansion will come in those areas where Jupiter is placed or is aspected. And it's in those areas you'll see optimism. So what Jupiter likes? Jupiter likes rituals, religion, tradition, culture, education, travel, morals and values, and your ethics. So Jupiter represents your husband. It's the karaka of children. It's what gives you children. Now, if you're looking at Mars and Jupiter, like what's the difference? Because they're both male planets. Mars is more of the male energy. It could be a boyfriend, it could be a brother. It's the males in your life, whereas Jupiter is it's the husband. It's the giver of the children, so it nurtures your children. Whereas Mars doesn't do that. Mars doesn't have a need for children, so it's not considered the husband planet. Jupiter is the husband. Jupiter in the 7th house, what that means. So Jupiter aspects the 9th, 11th, and the 5th house from the, those are the aspects of Jupiter. So here you'll see that it's aspecting the 11th, the 3rd, and the 5th house. So Jupiter and its influences will also be felt here. The expansions will also be seen here as well. Jupiter in the 7th. Now, what is the 7th house? The 7th house It is your spouse, and it is your marriage, and it describes your marriage, your quality of your marriage, characteristics of your marriage. Now, when it's in the seventh, it's aspecting the 11th, the third, and the fifth house. So you'll again see these aspects and how that expansion of Jupiter and your luck factor plays out here. Now, if your Jupiter is well placed, you'll see benefits. If you'll see that your Jupiter is weak, then you'll see that those weaknesses carry forward in those houses as well. So now, because Jupiter also is the lord of the ninth house, and it's also the lord of the 12th house. So now you see how many houses in your chart your Jupiter is actually influencing, the placement of where it's sitting, the aspects from where it's sitting, and then the lordships of the ninth and the 12th also play a part in your chart. So you're not just looking at one placement, you're looking at Jupiter from every angle. So now when we're looking at Jupiter in the seventh, it's aspecting your third house, which is younger siblings, and it's your courage, it's your local environment, your local community. It's those things, your hobbies. So this can bring good luck to that area. So your younger siblings will do well, and you'll have a good relationship with your younger siblings, with your neighbors. So that's really good. Now it also aspects the fifth house from here. It does bring some issues with childbirth. So what I would recommend is if you have somebody who has Jupiter in the fifth, and with this placement, then you have to look at the possibilities of having some childbirth issues. That's a possibility. So because the fifth house is to do with your children. Now here it's aspecting the 11th house as well. So you'll see good results with your social networking circles, your gains, and your liquid assets will do well. Now the person with Jupiter with this placement, they end up with a spouse who is very religious, and they're very ethical in how they proceed with life and how they perform their duties in life. They like to do everything in a very proper way, very you could say like the good girl or the good guy. The spouse is someone who is very religious and wants to do things proper. They don't take any shortcuts to do things. And what happens with this placement is because the spouse is very religious and proper and all of that, the spouse actually, you will actually want to venture out. You'll probably do a lot more things on your own outside of the house to make do for the lack of attention you're getting because your spouse is so devoted to their religion and their duties. So this is a very dutiful spouse, and it does create some marital problems. The sex life is not the best here because it's not a good placement for that. But you will see that the spouse the chances of divorce are less because the spouse is very religious and very dutiful and will put all their energies into the marriage. So the chances of divorce are a lot less, but the quality of the marriage is not quite there. Just because when you feel like one person is too perfect, then you feel like you lack yourself. So this kind of creates a little bit of that effect. So you keep yourself busy outside of the house. You keep yourself busy in other things because your spouse is kind of mentally and emotionally busy with their religion and their beliefs and with their duties and trying to be the best person they can be. So in that respects, it's not a great thing, but at the same time, this is a very devoted person. They will devote themselves to their marriage. So this is Jupiter in the 7th house. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you liked it. And if you have, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, your support is greatly appreciated. And until next time, see you then.